Well, welcome back to story time and welcome back to the little story nook in my apartment. I'm going to continue with the story of Keck, and as you can see, we're getting close to the end. And I'm going to finish out this story about Keck and what happens to him, and if he ever gets reunited with his mother, and if he stays in Minneapolis, or just whatever happens to him. And after that, we'll start on a series of stories from The Moth, which is what I have always done in storytelling. And I think you'll like that. But I personally like this book and I really want to see what happens. So sit back, relax, and here we go with the continuing saga of Keck. Mrs. Hernandez and Mr. Franklin take us to the school library twice a week. It's filled with books on shelves climbing to the ceiling like little buildings. Each book is like a door waiting to be unlocked. Today I sit at a table, but I don't pick a book to read like everyone else in my class. Today, I don't know why, feels like the day at the grocery store. Today I'm thinking of how my mother always wanted to learn to read, to own a book, to open one of these magical presents and see what's inside. Mrs. Hernandez shows me a book about cows. She asks me to find a picture of a cow like Goal, but I tell her I don't feel in the mood for the library today. Well, that's okay, she says. I know how that goes. It's just so hard to choose, I add. There are so many books, and where I come from, there are hardly any. Mrs. Hernandez nods. I felt that way a lot when I first came here. Once I went to the mall and ended up hiding in the corner of the clothes store. It was just too many lights, too many clothes, you know? And I still feel kind of funny at movies. Have you been to a movie yet? I shake my head. Not one of the big movies, but I did see a little one on the flying boat. I went to a grocery store, though I whisper the last word, cry. Mrs. Hernandez pats my hand. It's just too much something, isn't it? When you had almost nothing, and when you know that many people still have so little. I don't know what to do with it all, I say. I kick at the chair leg. To have all this food, and all these books, and all this freedom, I feel sort of, I don't know the word, too lucky. It's a big gift, she agrees. I reach for the cow book. My father would have liked this book, I say. I'd like to hear about your family, Mrs. Hernandez says. And I think for a minute. My father was a fine singer, I say. Tell me more, Mrs. Hernandez says. And I do. Time passes, the kind they call weeks. I have a little money from my job. I have to make myself believe that a crumpled piece of green paper means something, means anything. In my old world, it was easy. You could know a person's wealth by counting his cattle. Hannah and I take the bus to the giant store filled with many things to buy. I've promised her I will not get upset this time. I want to buy my aunt some new dishes. There are many stores within stores here, and music and food. It's bright and big with toys and chairs, TV machines and t-shirts. What do you call such a place? I ask. A mall, Anna replies. I follow her to a huge, shiny store. I've herded cattle for many hundreds of miles with only the stars to guide me, but I'm certain I could never find my way out of this place. Hannah takes me to two magic silver staircases, one going up and one coming down. I watch the stairs melt away and then reappear. It's just an escalator, she says. No big deal, come on. I shake my head. They had these at the airport, but Dave let me take the stairs instead. Is there another way to climb? She laughs. Well, there's an elevator. That should be better way, I say. Okay, but you gotta promise me you'll try it next time. It's fun, Hannah says. So are elevators. The elevator is hiding near a row of puffy white coats, like clouds, with arms. Hannah pushes a button, and we wait. A bell rings, and then a door vanishes. I follow her into the little room waiting for us. She pushes another button, and then, zoom, up we fly. I think I felt my stomach downstairs, I say. Hannah smiles. I told you it was fun. Hannah leads me to the shelves filled with colorful dishes. I like some with many stripes, but she says I can't afford them. She picks out a small box of white ones. This should pretty much replace what you broke, Hannah says. I cradle the box gently in my arms, the way I would carry a newborn calf, on the way to a praying place. We pass many red, sparkling cards and much candy. Some of it is even chocolate. Valentine's Day is in a couple of days, Hannah explains. You give stuff to people you like. Plus, it just happens to be my birthday. Hey, when's your birthday? I don't know, I admit. We don't have birthdays in the way that you do. But I know I was born in the same time you call summer. Hannah looks confused by the news. It's hard for me to remember that she sometimes finds my ways as strange as I find hers. I must find your gift, she says. After I pay you back the money I owe for the bus and the washing, how much do I have left? No way, Hannah says. You're not spending your hard-earned money on yours truly. But it would make me very happy and proud, I argue, and it's my duty as your friend. Hannah grins out of the side of her mouth, a silly, tilted smile, like a new moon rising. Okay, see that little box of heart candy? You could afford that. It must be chocolate, I say firmly. She scans the shelf. Here, she says at last, and she hands me a shiny little heart. Perfect. We stand in a long line, and when I give the lady my money for the dishes and the heart, my own heart grows so big with pride, I feel it might pop open like a ripe seed pod. I earn this money, I tell her. I take care of cows. It's a fine job. The lady smiles politely. If you say so, hun. Again, I'm learning that American people don't understand the wonder of a cow. Maybe if they had more cows on the TV machine, people would begin to feel as Ganwar and I do. You can have your dogs and cats, your gerbils, your hamsters, a sleek, sparkling fish, but you will have lived just half a life if you have never loved a cow. In front of our apartment, I give the shiny heart to Hannah. Happy birthday and happy Valentine's Day, I say, to my good friend Hannah. 3 boys walk past just as Hannah slips the silver heart into the pocket of her coat. They glare at us with eyes that almost shoot poison. Leave that white girl alone, one yells. Hands off, boys. I just ignore them, Hannah whispers. She pulls me inside and slams the door shut. A month later, she opens it a crack and peers out. They're gone, she says. I think in my head, I don't understand. Me neither, Anna says. Me neither. You shouldn't have pulled me inside, I mutter. They're jerks, Hannah yanks off her mittens. I didn't want you to get hurt. I am a man, I say, standing tall. You sure are, Hannah says. I just, didn't see the point in a fight. Why does it matter? I can't explain. Suddenly I feel tired of using words that don't belong to me. Never mind, I say. I trudge up the stairs. My aunt is surprised to see the box from me. A present, she keeps saying, a present for me. She opens the dishes and hugs me hard. You are such a fine boy, Keck, she says. I feel happy about the dishes and bad about the angry boys. It's hard to feel two things at once, so I try not to feel anything. I sit next to Ganwar on the sofa, and together we watch the TV machine tell its happy, easy stories. Every weekend and other days, sometimes Ganwar and I go to Lou's. It feels good to go somewhere simple, to work and to sing, to eat cookies with chocolate. Ganwar doesn't say so, but I think he is calmer on these days. Sometimes he sings and even whistles to a radio, or tells me a joke in English that I don't understand. Always, though, I laugh to make him happy. One afternoon, Ganwar and I rebuild a gate that's rotted away at the edge of the field. It's long work, and we sweat under our thick coats. The sun is still weary and weak, like a traveler too long on the road, but each day it's trying harder to warm the world. Ganwar wipes away sweat with his arm. The 6 lines etched into his forehead glisten. I will never have the gar, I say suddenly. My words surprise me. It's an idea I've never let myself think about until now. The initiation ceremony is part of another place, a place I may never again return to. You're lucky, Ganwar says. Why should you want such scars? They mean nothing. There they meant everything, I say. I lean on the fence. How will I know when I am a man? Ganwar keeps hammering. When you own a fine car and a house with many bathrooms, then you're a man in this country, he answers with a smile. It isn't so funny, I say. You've been tested and I haven't. You were brave. I look away. I don't want him to see my eyes and what lies hidden there. Me, I haven't been. Sure you have, Ganwar replies. You were in the camp alone. You came here alone. That's plenty brave. It doesn't take a knife in the hand of a village elder for you to prove yourself. I pick up my hammer and slam it hard against a rusty nail sticking out of the wood. That's easy for you to say. After that, I won't talk anymore. But I hammer many nails as hard as I can. Even when my glove's on, I have a good hurting blister to show for it. More weeks pass. Something strange is happening to the world. I hear bird songs now, where only silence filled the air before. Tiny green hints dot the trees and bushes. The snow is getting smaller and grayer, like an old person whose time is past. Dave says it's called spring. One morning, Lou calls us to come into her kitchen. A plate of warm chocolate cookies wait for us. I'm happy about this, until I see Lou's ankle, covered by a thick white bandage. Sprained the dang thing last night, she says. Slipped in a barn. Do you have many pains, I ask? Nah, she waves away the question like a troublesome insect. But it's gotten me to thinking about you boys. Even with your help, I can't keep this place running anymore. Wish it weren't that way. I've been here a long, long time. It's time to sell and move on. Ganwar nods. He doesn't look surprised. It's okay, Lou. We knew it probably wouldn't last. I stare out the window. Where will you go? I ask in a whisper when the farm is sold. Lou lifts her shoulders. I'm not sure. This has been my home so long I don't know anywhere else. I have a sister in Los Angeles. She makes a face. Not sure I could stand all the nice weather. What would I complain about? We can stay on as long as you need us, Ganwar says. He doesn't sound mad at all. He sounds like he's used to being disappointed. But what about Gall, I ask. My voice has a crack in it. Lou looks out the window too. I don't know, Keck. There's gonna build a strip mall, and they won't be needing a cow, I'm guessing. And she sighs. Gall is a very old, tired animal. I don't think we'll probably be able to find anyone who wants her. I'm sorry, hon. I leap to my feet. My chair falls back with a loud thud. I hate it here, I scream. I want to go home. I run out the door and across the field toward the bus stop. I'm glad that Lou can't follow me with her sore foot. I'm sorry that I'm glad, and I'm mad that Ganwar isn't mad enough. I stop working at Lou's. Ganwar keeps going to the farm, but he doesn't say anything to me about it. When he comes home with hay and mud stuck to the bottoms of his running shoes, I leave the room. Lou calls for me on my aunt's telephone to see if I will change my mind, but I won't talk to her. She tells my aunt I'm a hard worker. She says that Gall misses my smile. One morning, Mr. Franklin says, "Hey, cowboy," and I almost start to cry. I say, "Please don't call me that anymore. I'm just Keck now," but I don't tell him why. Hannah says I am cutting off my nose to spite my face. I don't know what that means, so she explains. It means you're being a stubborn moron, boy. She looks a little sad when she says this, so I don't get mad at her. Why don't you at least keep going for a while, she asked. It could be months before she leaves. Because at the end, I know Lou and Gall and the farm will be gone forever, I say. Can't you understand this feeling? Hannah chews on her lip. Yeah, I guess I can, she says later. I wonder if maybe she is thinking about her mother, who is not a foster. But I don't ask. The day is warm and the world begins again. I think of Gall moseying and nosing the ground, grateful to find tender grass appearing at her feet. After spring, Ganwar says, comes the time called summer, and no school. The sun is strong as a young man. He says Lou may not leave until summer ends, but I close my ears to his words. The last day of school, Mr. Hernandez and Mr. Franklin put our desks into a circle. Mrs. Hernandez stands in the middle. Here comes a speech, she says, and we all groan. That noise is the same in all languages, she laughs. I promise it'll be a very short speech. I just want to know, and I want you to know, that I am very proud of all of you. You have learned much and have come very far this year. She makes a funny sound in her throat, but I don't think that she has a cold. Like so many immigrants before you, I know you'll make this country a better, stronger place. And she wipes her eyes. Okay, speech over. Mr. Franklin brings over a big box and he places it on a desk. Inside is a cake. An amazing long cake. I wonder maybe if it's the biggest cake in the world. Ta-da, he says. In the middle of the cake is a green lady with her arms in the air. She's holding a green candle. Anybody recognize this old gal? Mr. Franklin asked. The Statue of Liberty, everyone yells at once. Why is she falling over? Jaime asks. Hey, I'm a teacher, not a baker, says Mr. Franklin. Maybe she's tired, Mrs. Hernandez suggests. She has a big job, after all. Why doesn't she have a dog? Pedro asks. Mr. Franklin laughs loudly. That isn't a dog. It's a cow. It's supposed to be Gall, he shrugs. I thought it would be a nice touch. I look away. I still haven't told anyone at school that Gall will soon be gone. There are words all over the cake in green letters. Many words are in squiggles. Before we eat, Mrs. Hernandez says, we read. Everyone groans again, but she holds a finger to her lips, and you know that means business. Mr. Franklin lights a candle, and Mrs. Hernandez makes her voice extra soft, so that we will pay attention. That is a trick teachers like to use. There are important words, she says. They mean that this is your country, now and forever. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. The candle glows in the green lady's hand, and I don't understand all the words, but somehow I know they're strong and fine. I wonder if someday it will feel like they are meant for me, too. And then we eat the cake, all of it, except for gall. I could not be more truthful if I said that winter is my favorite time. Winter is wet and heavy work. True, I learned to make snowballs like perfect moons and to catch snowflakes on my tongue. But I grew weary of looking for missing gloves. After such a winter, summer comes like a present with a bow. Summer is ice cream and skateboards and sweet grass under your free toes. And just as Dave promised, a not dead tree had been teasing me. Their leaves stop hiding, and over my head they weave a cool roof of green. Ganwar says that the farm will have its new owner at the end of the summer. Lou can stay till fall, and then they will tear down the buildings. Lou is sad, he said, and she misses me. I say he can tell Lou and Gull that I miss them, but I will not be coming back. Hannah tries to take my hand and my mind off the farm. She knows all the secret summer things. We take the bus to a swimming hole shaped like a giant brick. It's filled with blue water and laughing children. First hot sun is on your skin, and then you jump in. For a while you are a fish in a warm pretending lake. She takes me to the library too, like the one at school, only with enough books for the whole world to read. They give me a card with my name on it and let me look at book after book after book. The library workers don't even know me, and yet they promise I could take a book home. To be trusted with such a precious gift is a great honor. My father would have sung me a song of pride to see his son so trusted. Hannah helps me find books with pictures of Africa. They don't seem real, these flat colors, smooth to my fingers. They make me happy, but also sad. I see a picture of a woman, tall, with strong arms and sunny eyes, and for a moment, a crazy moment, I think it might be my mother. She's like her, I say to Hannah, but not. She's very beautiful, Hannah says. I'm starting to not remember, I whisper. Sometimes I can't see her face in my mind. Only when I'm asleep now is she real. I know, Hannah says. It's the same for me, too. The words seal her smile away like clouds over the sun. On the library table is a paper in little tiny pieces in a box, and a cup filled with short yellow pencils. I give a pencil to Hannah. You can still send a letter to her, I say. I wait. She doesn't speak. And I say, you can, but I cannot. Hannah lets air out slowly from her mouth. She looks at me with her leave me alone face, but she takes a pencil. It's a very small paper, I say. It can be a very short letter. She chews on the pencil. She twirls her hair around her finger, and she makes another face at me. But when she starts to write, she can't stop. She fills paper after paper after paper with words. At last, she's done. There, she says, happy? I smile. Yes, now we will go mail it. Fine, she makes another sighing noise. And then I'll whip your butt at basketball. I don't mind that so much. She's mad, but it's a good kind of mad. Besides, she always beats me at basketball. One hot day, Dave comes by to see how we are doing. Hannah and I are in the parking lot. She's teaching me how to skateboard. I have many hard places on my knees and my elbows, and a hat like a round ball on my head. This is good because I fall down every time I try to stand on the skateboard, and Hannah is trying not to laugh, and I am trying not to fall. Looking good, buddy, Dave says, but he is just being kind. Why don't you take a break for a minute? I've got some things to talk over with you. I talked to Lou yesterday. We sit on a bench in front of the apartment, and Hannah comes too. So you know about the farm, I say. I take off my round, hard head and give it to Hannah. I'm sorry, Dave said. I know you liked working there. I'll try to find another place to help out. Another place won't have gall, I say. Listen, buddy, Dave says. I'm afraid I've got some more news. I heard from Diane. They tracked down the people who made it to the 2 refugee camps we told you about. Something grabs my throat and tries to steal the air away. None of them was your mom, Keck. I look away. Nearby, a crow flaps his great black wings to chase away sparrows. Hannah pats my back. There's still hope, though, right? She asks. Dave clears his throat. There's another small refugee camp about 80 miles south, and we're checking out that one. And I nod. Remember how your aunt told me you're an optimist, Keck? Dave says. I need you to stay strong. In my pocket, I feel the soft blue and yellow fabric I have carried for so long. I remember something Ganwar said to me. Thank you for your helping, Dave, I say. But what I'm thinking is that a man knows when he's defeated. I am in our tent at the camp, and all around the children and women sleep. We are too crowded to lie down. We sleep on each other, legs and arms twined. There's moaning and snoring and muttering and drooling, but it's a kind of uneasy peace. I'm not so hungry tonight. Grain came in bags from the helping people today. Mosquitoes buzz in the tent flaps, louder and louder still. And then I know it is the drone of a flying boat. The gunfire is almost gentle at first. Pop, pop, pop. And then it gets closer, and the world goes crazy with fear. Children scream, mothers sob, men threaten. A fire is burning somewhere out close. My mother takes my hand, firm, sure. Come, my child, she says. If we are going to walk to look for the moon, we run from the tent, pretending and pretending. A safe place lies just a few steps away. My mother falls, her dress caught on a bush. And then the gunfire becomes harder, flying toward us like hot little stars. Run, Keck, my mother screams. Run now. I kneel beside her. I can't leave you, I say. Or I think I say, for my voice is swallowed by the roaring night. My legs hurt. I can't run. You hide in the trees. You can get help. You will be safe. Go, run, now. I start to run, and I don't know that I'm clutching her dress. And a tiny piece rips free, and I run. And the trees are waiting, and the men come, and their knives and their guns and their mysterious hate. I wait with other children. I hold a little child and cover her mouth. When she tries to cry, down comes, silence comes, blood and death are everywhere, and my mother is gone. I wake to no blood, no bodies, no mama. I'm on the sofa and Ganwar sits on the floor next to me. You were moaning, he says. It must have been a bad one. I wipe my wet cheeks. Very bad. I was in the camp and the men with guns came. Ganwar nods. He clicks on a light and the shadows take form. I still have that one sometimes. Not like this one, I shiver. How can you be so sure, he asks. You can't visit in my head. Because mine has truth in it, I say. Because in mine, I drop my head in my hands. Because in mine, I leave mama and I run. In mine, I'm a coward and it's the truth. Ganwar stares past me for a long time. He is somewhere far away and I know where it is. We all ran, Keck. It's the only reason we're here. I should have stayed with her. Even a brave man can't stop a bullet. You did what you had to do. Ganwar joins me on the sofa. He puts his arm around me. He doesn't seem surprised. And then I begin to sob. I am not so surprised when he, too, begins to cry. I wait until Ganwar falls asleep. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in a place where my words taste wrong in my mouth. I don't want to live in a place where candy for a kind girl makes people angry, and every year the trees must die. I want to be in a place where the things I love and know are within my reach. But where is that place? My aunt says I can find sun when the sky is dark, but she is wrong. I can see what there isn't there. I check the jar where I keep my pay from Lou. I have a handful of green papers and 4 silver washing machine coins. With such riches, I can run far away. To places I've seen on the TV machine, although it will mean a lot of walking. Maybe I can go to Washington, to the president's house. I can ask him to help me find Mama. I know 2 buses, the bus to the grocery store and the mall, and the one to Lou's farm. I will take the bus that comes to the bus stop first, and then at least I will be on my way. I would like to leave a note so that my aunt and Ganwar and Hannah won't worry about me, but I don't know yet how to write many words. Ganwar snores softly. I leave half the green paper on the sofa. I write my name on a scrap of paper. I make a heart shape like the one I gave Hannah. I get my jacket and I go. The evening air is cool and damp. I take the first bus that comes, the route that goes past Lou's. I put my coins in the hungry metal mouth beside the driver. The bus jerks. I grab a pole. How far does this bus go? I asked. To the airport, he says. The airport? I repeat. With the flying boats? The driver gives me a strange look. Sit down, kid. I think about this important news as I take a seat. For the first time, I wonder if I could go back home. I have my green money papers, after all. I could fly to my home and find my mother myself. That is what a good son would do. I think of the vastness of my country. I think of the camp, the guns, the blood. I wonder if flying back home would be like the time I tried to fly from the top of the acacia tree. The bus is nearly empty. We pass many buildings and take many turns. And then we were on a big street I know well. In the soft light, I see familiar places: the gas station, the empty lots, the cars for sale, with bright lights on a string overhead like captured stars. This is the ugly land, I think. It needs endless horizons and emptiness. There are too many buildings to block the sky. You can't even watch the sun put on its bright pajamas and sink into bed. You're coming close to lose. I feel bad not to have said my thank yous and goodbyes and to have shouted at Lou in anger. In my old home, where death sneaks into your home in the hush of night, goodbyes were a precious thing. How could I miss a place of such pain, I wonder? Doesn't make sense, and yet there it is. What I miss is the time before the pain. I miss Mama and Luau and listening to my father sing a laughing song. In the moonlight, I see first the old gray fence with new boards on the gate Ganwar and I had fixed. I see Lou's house, the tree with its great brown arms outstretched and sagging barn. I see Gall, too. She is in the field alone, staring out at the road. I touch the window. And then, I don't know why, I yell for the driver to stop. By the time I am over the fence, Gall has spotted me. She trudges over, slow but determined, like an old woman longing for her grandchild's embrace. When we reach each other, I put my head on her neck. You should be in the barn, I say. I peer over to see if Lucien is outside. The sky is rich with stars, like fresh black dirt sprinkled with tiny seeds. The moon hangs low, like a cupped hand of silver water. Gall nudges me. I know this means she wants an ear scratch, so I do as I am told. Tears warm my cheeks. A door slams. I see Lou heading to the barn. I crouch low beside Gall. I don't want Lou to see me crying. She will be coming to get Gall, and I must hide. The field is empty. There's nowhere to go but the big tree. I dash over and clamber up easily. It's a good climbing tree. High up in the tangled branches, I watch the cars charge by, like a herd of panicked animals. Gall looks up at me, wondering why her ear scratch is over. She heads slowly in the dark direction of the tree. I wipe my nose on my sleeve. No, I say softly. Go away, Gall. She settles under the tree and stares up at me like a motherless puppy. I'm so high I should be able to see forever. In the starlight, I imagine that if I try hard enough, I can see my family's thatched hut, my father's sharp-horned cattle, the tree where I learned I'm not meant to be a bird. Go away, I whisper. I'm going to be here for a long time. Ganwar, I have been in the tree forever. When I hear a bus screech to a stop far across the field, I just make out a tall figure climbing down the bus stairs. Ganwar leaps over the fence and strides across the field. He's heading toward the barn, but then he stops. He looks at Gall. He looks up into the branches of my tree and he laughs. Please don't tell me you're trying to fly again, he says. How did you find me here? I ask in a loud whisper. I woke up when you shut the door. I watched from the window when you got on the bus, and I took the next one. Why? I demanded. Ganwar shrugs. Don't know exactly, but it was worth it just to see you stuck up there. Using his good hand in a graceful move, he climbs up to join me. I don't want company, I say. He ignores me. So you're running away? I'm trying. Where to? Maybe I'm going home to find Mama. Ganwar nods. You think that's what she would want? That's what a man would do, I say. Ganwar rubs his chin. What if she's already on her way here? I rub my eyes, and suddenly I feel tired. If I lie back on this branch, I think I could fall asleep for a week. I'm not used to making so many decisions. I'm not used to so many changes. In my old world, I was just Keck, a silly boy. I was Lual's little brother, Ganwar's troublesome cousin, my parents' mischievous child. That was all. That was enough. I sigh. There are too many hard things, I say softly. I can barely hear my own words. It isn't fair. I want everything I lost. Ganwar rubs the place where his hand should be, and I look away. I don't want to think about what he has lost. Maybe I'll come with you, Ganwar says. No, I say firmly, you stay. But it will never be right for me here, Keck. I have this. He holds up his stump of an arm. And I have Gar. It's worse for me. I'll never fit in. If you're... Gotta stop.